ago, Stacey Abrams and many of you were here in this place. I was retiring, and our youngest son said to me, "Mom, is this about you or is it about Stacey?" And I said, "It's about Stacey." So when Stacey grew up here with her siblings, wonderfully parented by 2 divinity students at Emory, Stacey became valedictorian, and some of you know that story. I'm not going to tell it again. Then, in that year that we had an event with Stacey, she went forth and won 156 counties out of 159 to become the Democratic Party gubernatorial nominee. After years of trials, many of you have lost friends, loved ones. After worrying about elders and worrying about little ones, after the end of one war and the horrors of another one, we have returned to this place. For us, it is great, isn't it, that we've returned? Let's do it again. For us, it's a place of hope and renewal. It's a place to renew our democratic activity. It's a place to protect the right to vote. With Avondale Action, which is Bruce's very mighty organization, you've heard of it. Lots of members out there. With Avondale Alliance for Racial Justice, which is a new group. We have become better than we were. Stacey leads us on with other mighty women to do justice and love mercy. Vice President Kamala Harris, Justice-elect Ketanji, Brown Jackson, Liz Shuler, and Mereda Davis Johnson. Almighty women who came to us in this year along with Stacey Abrams. Stacey and all our mighty women give us hope and lead us to do better for Georgia's citizens than we've done before. I know you want to hear from Stacey. Mereda Davis Johnson is my co-chair, co-host, who gives 2 people out of their family to serve the public. Hank Johnson, Congressman from the 4th District, Mereda Davis Johnson, Commissioner from DeKalb County. Welcome, Mereda, please.
Hello. I'm going to tell you now, 4 years ago, Hank and I hosted a fundraiser for Stacey as we worked to get Stacey elected for the Democratic nomination, to which we all know she went on to win. That was 4 years ago, and Stacey's at a whole nother different level now. She has become a national figure and has become the next, and will become the next governor of the state of Georgia. What I love about Stacey is that she has pushed to the forefront the issue of voter suppression in this state and around the country as the founder of Fair Fight Action. She has also registered over 1 million people in Georgia to vote. Stacey is always on the forefront of issues with the Affordable Care Act, unionized workers, higher wages in Georgia, and I could go on, but I think Stacey can tell you best about Stacey. The Republicans are running scared, and they are attacking our national leaders, but they're also attacking Stacey right here in Georgia, because they know if we have a fair election, one person, one vote, Stacey will be our governor. Just the other day, they spent the whole debate concerned about Stacey. That's the impact that she has. So I say to you, if we have to walk, if we have to crawl, or if we have to run to the polls, we need to get there. We have to tell our neighbors, our friends, our cousins, aunts, uncles, and whomever else to go vote. For we look forward to Stacey breaking the glass ceiling and becoming the 84th governor of Georgia. It is my sincere honor and pleasure to introduce my friend, our leader, and the next governor of Georgia, Stacey Abrams. Let's get fired up.
Thank you. Thank you to Marylou. Thank you to Commissioner Johnson, Mereda. Thank you to Val Bernhardt for your work pulling this together. You thank them. And to everyone on the host committee, I want to acknowledge some of my former colleagues who are here. My counterpart in the Senate Minority Leader Steve Henson, Representative Carla Drenner, Chair of the Democratic Caucus, Representative Billy Mitchell, King of the World, Dewey McClain, Representative. He's a little lost. He's supposed to be in Gwinnett. He made his way down here. And because he's standing in that little clutch, although I think he knows better, our County Commissioner, Larry Johnson. Hi, Valerie. Hi, I'm Stacey Abrams, and I intend to be the next governor of the great state of Georgia. Marylou referenced the fact that I graduated from high school a few blocks from here. I went to Avondale High School. And in 2000, sorry, ooh, Lord, pretending right then. In 1991, I became the valedictorian at Avondale. I was incredibly excited, got the invitation that valedictorians across the state receive, which is an invitation to the governor's mansion. I was mildly interested in meeting the governor. I was deeply interested in going to a mansion. I watched a lot of Dynasty as a child. And so on that Sunday, when I got dressed and my parents got dressed, we got ready to go to the governor's mansion. We were all ready to go. But we went outside and we didn't get in our car. You see, my parents were grad students at Emory University. They were working full-time, had 6 children, were taking care of us full-time, and were going to school full-time. What they didn't have was a car or money. And so instead of getting in our car to go to Buckhead, we got on MARTA. We thought nothing of it. MARTA was going to get us where we needed to go, and it had taken us around. So we take MARTA from Decatur all the way to West Paces Ferry, get off the bus, cross that street, and we walk up the sidewalk at the governor's mansion. We're walking along the side of the driveway because cars are coming and bringing other valedictorians from across the state, 180 school districts. There were so many of us, we were divided into 2 days, and my day was Sunday. And so we, in our Sunday finest, walk very carefully up the driveway, and we get to the security guard, and he comes out, and he looks at me, and he looks at my parents, and he says, "This is a private event. You don't belong here." Now my father says, no, this is my daughter Stacey. She's one of the valedictorians. She should be on your list. But the guard doesn't check the checklist. It's in his hands, but he doesn't look at it. Instead, I remember him looking at me and my parents, and more importantly, looking over my shoulder at that bus that's pulling away. A bus that on a Sunday morning is taking nurses to their jobs and janitors to their jobs and helping families get to where they need to be because they don't have access to more. And when he saw that bus pulling away, he did not believe that I should be anywhere but on that bus. Hi, Mayor. I see Mayor Wilson. I'm sorry, I'm morally obligated to say that. And Mayor Wilson knows what I'm talking about, because the look on his face is a look too many of us have seen. It was a look of disdain, a look of dismissal, a look that said that because we had not, we were not. Now, I wanted to run and catch that bus and would have made it if my mother didn't have my arm in a death grip. Because she and my father had raised me to understand that we were going to stand in our space and we were going to own the places where we were. I had forgotten that lesson in that moment, but they didn't let me forget. So my mother started to explain to the gentleman that I was indeed on the list and should be allowed inside. My father was less generous in his conversation. And while my parents were studying to become ministers, they weren't pastors yet. And I distinctly remember my father suggesting that man might meet his maker sooner than he intended if he didn't find my name on the list. And so while I stood there in humiliation and in defeat, my parents made certain I was allowed inside. But the thing of it is, I don't remember meeting the governor of Georgia that day. I don't remember going inside the mansion. I don't remember the canapes. I don't remember my fellow valedictorians. One of the most important days of my life as a young person, all I remember is the look on that man's face and his voice telling me I don't belong. I'm here because I intend to open those gates wide to every person in the state of Georgia. I'm running for governor because I believe that we all belong in this state, and more importantly, this state belongs to us. I'm running for governor because it is time we had a leader who actually sees us and serves us and cherishes us and wants us all to rise. I am tired of trickle-down politics in the state of Georgia, where if you're at the top, you've got everything that you need. If you're at the bottom, God help you, because they won't. I'm running for governor because I believe that now is our time and this is our moment, and we will get it done. I'm running because I have parents who became ministers because the ministry that called them was a ministry of justice. They understood that the gospel that they hold to be true is a shield to protect, not a sword to strike others down. And you see, my parents in 1991, they were studying at Emory University. They were getting their Masters of Divinity, and it's a few years later now. And at the age of 73, my parents now live here in Georgia. They moved back to Mississippi after they finished, and they came back in 2019 when myself and my siblings encouraged them to come closer. Because you see, my parents, who have always lived lives of service, are raising my niece. My parents are 73 and my niece is 15. And I want to say bless you to everyone who allowed a child to grow to 16. Sweet molasses on a cracker. My parents are raising her. When my grandmother passed away, my grandmother lived with my parents in Mississippi, and when she passed away, we said to my parents, why don't you come and stay with us? Come to Georgia, we'll get you taken care of. So I was able to get a house for my parents in Stone Mountain. And my mom and dad moved here with my niece Faith, and they've lived in Stone Mountain since 2019. Faith was an 8th grader when they moved here. And in 2019, they were pretty well settled. But in the last few years, things have changed for a lot of us. In the last few years, COVID has taken so much from us. Well, in 2021 and 2022, I experienced firsthand what happens when there isn't enough. You see, my father has been battling prostate cancer for 15 years. And finally, in July of 2021, there was a surgery he has needed to have that he put off until he just couldn't put it off anymore. And he went in for that surgery, and when he came out, I said, Mom and Dad, why don't you come and stay with me? Bring Faith, and you guys come stay in the house that I have that can accommodate you now. My parents came to my house, and my niece came to my house, and that was in July, and we haven't quite figured out the transition plan back to their house in Stone Mountain, but we're working on it. But a couple of weeks after they started recuperating there, my mom woke up a little worried because my father was a bit listless. He's a man of great energy, and he wasn't moving so well, and it was 2 weeks after the surgery, and she was worried, and finally she said, Stacey, can you call your doctor? I said, sure. So I called my doctor, and my doctor had me describe my father's symptoms, and she said, press on his leg for me and tell me what you feel. And when I described it, she said, Stacey, you need to get your dad to a hospital right now. You see, I live in Decatur. I live in Atlanta. I live in DeKalb. I live close to Emory, and so we got him in a car, and we got into the hospital, and thank God we did, because my father had sepsis. And he was in the hospital for 8 days, and had we not gotten him to the hospital, my dad would not be with us today. And I tell you the story because a month ago I went to Cuthbert, Georgia, and I stood in front of a hospital that instead of saying emergency and welcome, it said closed. Because under the existing current governor of the state of Georgia, he didn't have the grace and the mercy to keep that hospital open. And the woman who introduced me, much as Mereda and Marylou did, the woman who introduced me was a nurse who described losing her job at that hospital. But what drove her to come to talk that day for me was not the hospital closure, it was what it meant to her community, what it meant to her family. Because you see, she had an aunt who woke up one morning not feeling so well. She had an aunt who had a medical emergency. Only when she called the ambulance to take her aunt to the hospital, it couldn't get there in time because it had to take her to Alabama, and her aunt died. I'm running for governor because if we'd expanded Medicaid in the state, her aunt would be with us, and this would not be the story I'm telling. I'm running for governor because we have a governor who simply does not seem to care enough about Georgians to do something about the lives of Georgians. You see, Medicaid expansion is more than a tagline. It's a promise. It's a promise that we give 500,000 people in the state access to health care, because sickness doesn't care whether you're rich or not. Poor people get sick. And good leadership says we're going to take care of you because you're one of ours. Medicaid expansion says we're going to bring the $3.5 billion to which we're entitled in 2022, we're going to bring it to the state. And we're going to bring the $3.7 billion next year and the $3.9 billion the year after. And we're going to keep bringing our money home to take care of our people here. That's what Medicaid expansion does. Medicaid expansion could have saved her life. It could have saved that hospital. But it's not just rural hospitals. It's a hospital in Commerce that just closed. It's a hospital in East Point that's closing. We are losing hospitals in Georgia not because we don't have the money, it's because we don't have the leadership. And I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what Brian Kemp has against poor people who get sick. I'm trying to figure out what it is, because it's not the money. We can afford it. He's giving away money like it's, never mind. He is very, very easily spending the billions of dollars secured by our Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock and our Senator John Ossoff and our President Joe Biden. He is happy to spend those dollars. But when they secured $2 billion to pay for Medicaid expansion so it wouldn't cost us a dime, he refused to take the money. So it's not the money. So then I thought, well, maybe it's the math. Maybe he doesn't understand the numbers. 500,000 people with health insurance, 64,000 new jobs to the state of Georgia, $100 million in local revenue. Maybe it's the math. But he seems to get the math too. Then maybe I thought it's his partisanship. But Mike Pence expanded Medicaid. John Kasich expanded Medicaid. Jan Brewer, that governor of Arizona, expanded Medicaid. So this isn't about an issue with ideology. And when you think about it, when you dig deep and you contemplate it, the only answer I can come up with is that Brian Kemp just doesn't care. Well, I'm running for governor because I care about Georgia. And I care about Georgians, and I want to bring our money home to take care of our people here. But I'm also running because my niece is an incredible young woman. She is 15 going on 45. And for the last 7 months, she's gotten to live next door to me. My parents have my room downstairs, and we share the upstairs bedrooms. We have a shared bathroom, meaning it's her bathroom, and she lets me visit on Thursdays. Hamilton, you weren't supposed to clap for that. Faith came to Georgia as an 8th grader, and she spent her first few months sitting behind a desk, acclimating to being in a new place as a young person, just becoming a teenager. But by March of 2020, she was moved from behind a desk to behind a screen. She spent her entire 9th grade year outside of the high school that she had just started. It wasn't until 10th grade that she finally met her colleagues. Faith is amazing, and my parents love her and help her. I do what I can for her. But I'm running for governor for the children who don't have Robert and Carolyn Abrams, who don't have Stacey Abrams, who is learning more about polynomials and the Gilded Age, and things fall apart than anybody should, who's no longer in school. I'm running for governor for the kids who live in those communities where they had to sit in front of McDonald's to get access to the internet so they could take their classes. I'm running for governor for those who had computers in their homes but their families couldn't afford the internet. I'm running for governor because we have a governor who, instead of planning for their future, is banning them from learning, telling them we will lie to them about our past so they don't have a good handle on the future. I'm running for governor because we have a governor who is willing to sign a bill banning books instead of helping them understand truths. I'm running because I don't understand how you plan to tell children that they don't belong in our state simply because they're looking to figure out who they are. Because that's what this time is about. I'm running because I have faith that everyone should have help the way my niece Faith does. And I'm running for governor because I believe you want the same. That regardless of who that child is and who that child may look to as parents and guardians, it is our responsibility as Georgians to lift those children up, to make certain they have the academic support and the emotional support and the academic support they need to be the best they can be. And I don't know that Brian Kemp cares. But I'm standing here in front of a group of folks who also understand labor and how hard we have to work. I'm seeing my friend Steve, who has worked so hard, my friend Dewey, and so many labor leaders who have done what they can, Sandra Williams. You see, I'm running for governor because I believe in labor. You may have heard, I didn't have very much money a few years ago. I'd worked hard. I'd done all the things I was supposed to do, but as so many of you know, sometimes when you get a good job, we all get that good job. And the money that looks really great on paper doesn't go as far as you imagined it would. And because I'm a very good tax attorney, I know you can defer tax payments. You can't defer cancer treatment. And so I took care of my family, but I have had the privilege in the last 4 years of making enough money that I could take care of their future. I've had the privilege to bring my parents into my home and they can stay as long as they like because I have the ability to take care of them, and I want that privilege to belong to every Georgian. I don't want families to have to decide who can stay and who must go. I don't want families to worry about not having one job, but 2 or 3 jobs just trying to make ends meet. We need labor in this state, but we also need a governor who believes in the value of hard work. Not as a tagline, but as a mission statement. I'm running for governor because it is not enough to be the #1 state to do business if it is not the best place to be a worker. That's the kind of state we need to be in Georgia. But I can't do it alone. We have 28 weeks till Election Day. 28 weeks to let other Georgians know that hope is out there. That yes, they feel pain. Yes, they feel anxiety. Yes, we are worried about tomorrow. But we should also be willing to dream a little more than we have in the last few years. I'm tired of things trickling down. I want us to rise up. I'm tired of pretending that everything's fine. I want us to say we're sorry to those who have lost and say we're with you for those who need to move forward. I want us to be a state that is one state, one Georgia, where we are working for everyone together, where we celebrate one another, where we work with one another, where we support one another, and where our response to someone else's pain is not to turn away, but to turn to one another. I'm running for governor because I believe in our state. I want to help the people who like me and the people who don't. And they are very clear about who they are. Because my mission is to serve. My parents raised me with 3 jobs: go to church, go to school, and take care of each other. I've been to church a lot. I did all the schooling I can. But with your help, in November, we can take care of each other. Let's rise up together. Let's create one Georgia. Thank you so much.
Okay, y'all can't leave yet. The food's not ready yet. But hey, say thank you to some folks. Let's give a big round of applause for Leader Abrams more time and her team. And y'all, we also have to thank our amazing volunteers. Thanks to all of our guys who help with parking, and to Avondale Action and Avondale Alliance for Racial Justice, helping with all the food y'all are fixing to eat in here. And of course, thank you to Purple Course Crew for the wine, right? The most important part. And then also thanks to our folks, our union brothers and sisters from IATSE and the Atlanta Labor Council for help with the sound and the sound equipment. And also to our volunteers from UFCW 1996. You probably saw those good-looking guys behind the bar earlier, and they're going to help with cleanup. Thank you to y'all. So most importantly, we need a big round of applause for our fabulous host committee. If y'all could raise your hands, host committee, please, and be recognized. And I'm happy to say that tonight, y'all, we raised over $50,000 for Stacey's campaign. And that's a good start. That's a good start. But I'm sure you know that we have a governor and some others, y'all. They don't care about us. You know, the hospital I was born in is now closed, right? We heard about, Medicaid expansion, all the things we're going to fight for. And in 2020, y'all, we scared them in Georgia because they saw that we can win, and we're going to do it again in 2022, right? And Dee McLean, we're going to rename Tuxedo Park the People's Park. All right, and so thank y'all so much for coming. The food will be served as soon as speeches are over, and hand it off to y'all.
We actually, do you guys want to take, Stacey's very into selfies. Do you guys want to just stand where you are, smile cute, and she is going to take a selfie with all of you guys in the back.
Stand up!